What if I tell you there's a way to use your nursing skill without working at bedside? Today, I'm spilling the tea on utilization review and case management and how you can get in. In this vlog, you'll get to learn what utilization review and case management are. Are there any difference between the two of them? What qualification employers are looking for before they get to hire you? Why is it so hard to find them and how? And lastly, what role AI plays in hiring and recruitment? Well, before anything else, I'd like to define what utilization management is. It is a healthcare process. It is used to ensure that patients receive the appropriate care while controlling cost and resource use. In short, it's all about healthcare allocation and cost effectivity. Easy. If you're puzzled why I have to include that definition, it is because during my time, it was really hard to understand the differences between utilization management, utilization review, and case management. Even when I was in the middle management, I can recall saying they're all the same and that these terms are interchangeable. Imagine that na-promote ako ng na-promote sa work ko nang hindi ko alam ibig sabihin ng trabaho ko. Cool. Utilization review is a subset of utilization management. It is the actual review process, looking at individual cases and trying to determine if the care provided is medically necessary or appropriate. This is where nursing and doctors too come in. Case management, on the other hand, pertains to the coordination of care, making sure patients go from hospital to home or somewhere else like inpatient rehabilitation, long-term acute care. What else? Skilled nursing facility or home health care, pretty much looking at the patient as a whole and figuring out, where can we best discharge this patient appropriately and safely? I didn't realize the differences until I worked bedside and saw the flow of patient care from where they get admitted in a hospital to their discharge and how healthcare system can ensure continuity of care just because we don't have this kind of tier of healthcare delivery back home. If you notice in professional social media like LinkedIn or Indeed, employers would categorize qualification into two. Either they are required or preferred. For required qualifications, employer would want definitely an active RN license in the United States, a minimum of 2 to 3 years bedside experience in an acute care setting or in the hospital. It could be an experience in medical, surgical, progressive care, or critical care. Employers would also look at your EMR or electronic medical records use experience since most documentation will be done on a computer. Lastly, a strong communication skill since UR and CM job entails a lot of care coordination. Preferred qualification only strengthens your portfolio and gives you a better chance at getting the job. Employers usually like nurses with certification just like my CMSRN and PCCN certifications, but it could be other nursing certifications as well. Also gives you a plus would be knowledge in healthcare insurance and managed care, and definitely prior experience to doing utilization review and case management works. Again, these are just the usual qualifications and company may need more or less of what I presented to you. However, this is still a good gauge of whether you will have the chance of being employed for a UR or CM job. Have you ever tried searching utilization management, utilization review, and case management jobs online? I bet you weren't able to find many. Tama ako? Not because there's scarcity of jobs, it is because insurance and managed care companies do not use these terms often. Instead of UM, UR, and CM, employers would rather create their own job titles. Just like when I worked for Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield Utilization Management Department, I was called a nurse agent. With United Healthcare, we were called inpatient care management nurses. With the last company I worked for, where we worked for Humana, we were called clinical reviewers. See the contrast? I tell you, you will never find them, but I've got good news for you. There's one way, tried and tested, to apply so that you have better chances of getting the job that you want. My proven recommendation would be a 3-step process. For instructional purposes, let me use United Health Group's website to present a demo. Since you will be applying for a UR or CM job, you would need to search on which healthcare insurance companies dominate the area where you live in or wish to work. I'd get a list of about 3 to 5 healthcare insurance companies, although you may further your list if you want to. Write this down on a piece of paper or type it in using your phone or whatever. Go to the company's websites. Usually on the homepage, there will be a link for career section. Hover your mouse on that and click create an account, and register. Similar with how you approach LinkedIn and Indeed, you have to either or both upload your resume and or fill out sections with your educational and professional backgrounds and any other information relevant to your application. Insurance companies usually have an option to sort out and filter jobs per profession, so you will have to choose registered nurse or nursing. All jobs available for you should pop up, then you should be ready to apply after this. I said it is my tried and tested way to apply for a job just because when you use LinkedIn or Indeed, not all company application processes are streamlined. What do I mean by this? Let me tell you, or let me cite LinkedIn as an example. Your profile typically uses your online resume. Ideally, you should be able to use that for applying for a job. Unfortunately, LinkedIn's application process for each and every company is not streamlined. There are job posts that allows you to use your online profile to apply directly for a job, and there are job posts that direct you to company websites or to their third-party providers for recruitment and hiring. So, to skip the redundant process in your job application, just go ahead and apply directly to company websites. When someone applies online through a hospital or a healthcare system's career portal, their resume and application go through an automated screening before it ever reaches a human. This is what HR calls Applicant Tracking System or ATS. Hindi nyo na naman alam yun, ano? This ATS automatically filters, ranks, and organizes candidates based on how well their application matches the job description by screening based on the job description and keywords. So, how does this affect you and how can you make use of ATS to your advantage? When filling out your online application, especially the job history or resume upload section, make sure you're speaking the language of the job description. If they say medical necessity reviews or interdisciplinary care planning, say that verbatim. In Tagalog, eksaktong sinabi, walang binago. If the JD says utilization review, don't say chart audits. Say what the job description says. If the JD says conducts clinical review for medical necessity, the applicants writes perform clinical review of medical necessity in alignment with UR protocols. Mirror the job description as much as you can, but also do not falsify your qualifications. I've proven this last year right after passing my CMSRN certification. It is a certification for medical and surgical nursing. When I was applying online, instead of filling out the job description with an actual job description based on my experience, I would just put in CMSRN or Certified Registered Nurse, thinking that this alone would justify my competency. Ang yabang ko. But I was wrong because I kept on receiving one rejection letter after another, not until I corrected my mistakes. That's my very short story. That's a wrap for this week's vlog. We finally talked about something that's close to home, which is utilization review and case management, something that I did for a little more than a decade as a nurse. You know where to find them, the qualifications employers are looking for, and how you can get past AI to at least get into one-on-one job interview with a hiring HR or manager. If you learned something new today, or if this video gave you that nudge to finally explore nursing outside the bedside, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and share it with your best buddy at work. You deserve a career that fuels you, not drains you. And remember, you didn't become a nurse to stay stuck, you become one to grow. This is Ed. Keep showing up at work, to my channel, and I'll see you next Sunday, 9 a.m. PST.